I had no knowledge of what it was I wanted to do. I was just kind of wandering around.
First of all, it's impossible.
I technically didn't need my camera bag, but I didn't want to be seen carrying a beer. I'll try to be discreet about it. Got some horses coming up here. Wait. So I am at Oregon Inlet Campground, the Outer Banks, North Carolina. And I ended up here a day early because sometimes things just don't work out for reasons that I'm not going to get into. It's beyond the scope of this channel. But the reason you saw the footage from Delaware and CHINCOTEAGUE Island as an intro instead of getting a whole video on this first week is because those plans didn't work out. And the timeline of things kind of fell apart, and I found it difficult to still string it together as a full video of the first week. So you're gonna have to, I am gonna have to, you know, all of us, I guess, if you are interested in what I'm doing here, as I am, we'll just have to roll with the punches, I guess. But I just wanted to go over some of the things. Just wanted to kind of give you a recap of how the first week has gone. And being that this is completely new to me, and it's just been interesting how some things are better than expected and some things are more difficult than expected. But overall, I'd say it's been a really good time so far. I'm looking forward to spending more time doing this. Like I said in my initial video outlining my plan here, is that I wanted to do it for a year, and I see that that's hopefully going to be feasible. At least I know financially it will, or it should be. But just in terms of staying motivated, trying to stay healthy, I've been dealing with some health issues, which I want to say I'm leaning towards anxiety being the cause of them, because I deal with a lot of anxiety. It's been really difficult for me to sleep all the way through the night. I wake up for a couple hours every night, but that's also due to the discomfort of my mattress. So I rolled the dice on a Casper mattress from Target, which comes in a box, and I hate it. I've had back problems for a couple years now, since an accident on my Grom back in 2015. I got rear-ended by a car, and so the what they call the myofascial tissue behind this shoulder blade is really messed up sometimes, and it's been getting worse the longer I sleep on this mattress. So that's unfortunate, but when I get to Florida, I'm gonna hopefully, when I'm hunkered down for like a week or more, I'm gonna try and find a mattress somewhere, maybe a store that has stuff in stock, so I don't have to like plan on being somewhere and take delivery while I'm there, that sort of thing. So the plan for today is basically just to sit tight. I have my itinerary going forward from here is to continue down North Carolina Route 12. I'm in Nags Head now, so moving down to Hatteras Island, take a ferry over to, I believe it's Ocracoke, And then there's another ferry I have booked for tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. and hopefully I can make that and take that the rest of the way to I forget the name of the location. I'll put it on the bottom here. But I'm going to land there probably. I'm guessing the ferry's probably going to be 45 minutes to an hour, maybe longer. I actually didn't look at how long it's going to take. But then there's a Walmart that I confirmed typically allows overnight parking in what's called Morehead City, and that's, I believe, still in North Carolina. And then I'll be heading down to Charleston, South Carolina this week to visit a friend of mine who I used to work with. And then from there we're going to mosey our way on down to St. Petersburg, and I'm going to land there where I have a week booked in Florida already. That was booked back around early August, or mid-August I should say. So that's the plan. Right now I'm just enjoying the view here. I guess while I'm talking I'll probably put over some overlay. You've probably already seen my little hike up and over the dunes. The dunes are pretty expansive here. It's cool. You know, it'd be really cool to be camping right on the beach, but it's also kind of cool to have that separation and see the expanse of mountains of sand. It's kind of gives you like a different kind of vibe. I've never been to a beach like this. The beaches that I ordinarily went to growing up were like Ocean City, Maryland, or like the Jersey Shore. Well, that definitely has its place. I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy time spent there. As I get older, I definitely like the more secluded and the more, what would you call it? Touristy, you know, not like Party City, you know, kind of like campfire on the beach instead of boardwalk, that type of vibe. So anyway, I'll cut this short now and then just fill in the rest of the video with whatever happens for the rest of the day that I feel like filming. And if I don't get to say it by the end of the video, thanks for watching. Today is Monday. It's about 9:45 in the morning. I'm sitting here at the marina. I don't know if you can see that, because this is where the dump station is. So I got about an hour to go down to Hatteras Island. It's kind of cool seeing all the boats. Not every day I get to spend time at a place like this. So I got about an hour to go to Hatteras Island, where it's a first come first served ferry over to Ocracoke, and then I have that, like I said earlier, I have that ferry scheduled at 4:30, so it depending on how long the ferry takes to get to Ocracoke, I'm assuming I'll have some time to kill there, and I think it's probably like another hour or so once I get there to the other end of that, and then that ferry takes me to Cedar Island, where I have an hour drive to get to Morehead City, I believe. So all in all, I think it's probably going to be a 5 or 6 hour day in the car, punctuated by stops and time to kill. So hopefully it's a good time. And it's kind of an overcast day here, but the temperature's pleasant. I'm glad I got that day in at the beach yesterday, because that was really nice. I needed that. So we'll catch up with you. I'll show you the drive down the coast on the GoPro. So I'm at the base of Hatteras Island, waiting for the ferry, which is free. I can't freaking believe that the ferry is free. In a world of exorbitant price gouging and extortion, there's a ferry that goes to another island that you can drive your car on and it's free. That's crazy. So very thankful for that. Just want to show you some of the architecture down here. I love it. I love the tall, kind of Victorian looking houses. Midway down there were a lot more with like cedar plank siding, which is really cool. I like that style too. It's very nice and mild, like mid to low 60s here, which is nice. So I'll time lapse the trip on the ferry and catch up with you guys a little bit as we get out on the water. So I made it to Ocracoke, and I had to park way over here because I'm checking out this brewery. And as I'm turning around to back into the spot, this lady zips around me and takes my spot without even fucking thinking about it. Pardon my language, but that really pisses me off when you see somebody backing up into a spot and you just fucking snipe them. Fucking, all right, I'm gonna stop before I get angry, but a beer and a burger sounds about right now. So now I'm waiting for ferry number 2, and the liquid sunshine is coming down. So I stopped in Ocracoke at a place called 1718 Brewing. I'll throw some clips of that place up. The pork tacos were really good. I had some good beers, and I got some to go as well. It's been kind of a long day. I'm trying not to get so mad about other things that are going on outside of what I'm doing here. But, you know, my home life seems to be continuing to follow me where I go. So that's the part that's been difficult, is because everybody wants a little piece of ownership over your life, and I'm not even going to say any more than that. I think some of you probably know where I'm coming from, but for those who don't, just try and be empathetic towards people, you know? Picture yourself in their shoes. On a happier note, something that I've noticed about this first week of traveling full-time is that you know, I'm the sort of person that I tend to make friends wherever I go. And, you know, even just standing in line somewhere, I've had good chats with neighbors at the campgrounds I've stayed at so far. Just standing in line waiting for the food at this place, which was packed. I mean, not like packed, but just considering how remote this place is, a little restaurant like that and being one of the only restaurants available on the island, of course everybody coming ferry to ferry like me is going to be going there. So you know, props to the people that were running the show there. I feel like they did a good job, despite it was such a long wait for the food, but the food was really good. And you know, I was chatting with some people in line, just talking about where you're from. You know, I feel like most people who run into each other in a place like this are not from here, you know? So that's what's really cool about traveling so far, is just, you know, meeting people and finding out where they're from and telling them where you're from and stuff like that, comparing notes. And it's just, that's been one really cool thing about traveling so far, is just hearing the different stories and meeting different people, and just the conversations that spark at random, just waiting in line somewhere, or like I said, neighbors at a campground. I met a guy back in CHINCOTEAGUE who he and I chatted for like an hour the morning I left, and it was just a good conversation. And I'll never, most of these people, I'll never see them again. That's what's really unique about it. I think that's what really stands out. But the whole drive down here was really kind of interesting. I've never, especially not with this camper, I've never driven somewhere that was so remote and like disconnected. It's just sand. You have the bay, you have the Pimlico Sound, and then you have sand, and then there's road, and then more sand, and then it's the ocean. And so it's just this long stretch that comes all the way down, and you feel so disconnected from the mainland, which is really cool. So I want to try and keep this video short. I'm probably going to be running on 20 minutes now, considering how much I already have set up in the editor. So I'll catch up with you real quick before we hang it up for the day, probably at the Walmart in Morehead City, and then that's probably going to be it for this video, but we'll catch up in a few minutes here. On here. So I made it to the Walmart in Morehead City. Really interesting place to drive through at night. That whole hour off the ferry was a really white knuckle drive, and the ferry was like 2 hours and 15 minutes. A lot longer than I was expecting. I thought it might be an hour and a half. But oh man, it's it's not like this rig doesn't handle that well. It's not the kind of thing you want to drive on a 2-lane road at 55 miles an hour in the middle of the night on a part of the country you've never been before. But I have a feeling it was just like a road through the middle of the ocean, and the Pimlico Bay or whatever it is. But anyway, my nerves are shot. I gotta go run around Walmart and and shake that one off. So but yeah, it was part of the experience. Let me just set the camera down here. So I'm sorry this video probably ran a little bit long, but if you got to this point, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.